Hello and welcome to another XRay.Tech video. Today we're going to be talking about business process mapping notation inside of Lucidchart. Now, don't be scared. It's not some crazy new language that you need to figure out and learn. Business process mapping is a really fancy term for flowcharts. That's it. Just some boxes, some lines going from one place to another, showing anything, really. Flowcharting is the beginning of the automation process. So if you have an idea, maybe you're on Zapier or Integromat or some other automation tool and platform, you've realized that you can do some pretty complex stuff in there. And if you don't plan beforehand, it becomes really difficult to manage updates or to communicate the system that you built to other members of your team. So at X-Ray, we're constantly trying to make these things transparent, right? People, process, the data that you're working with, every application that you're in, we're just constantly striving for transparency. So flowcharting is an amazing way to just level the playing field. Hey, we're trying to take this data and put it over here. And you have a couple of boxes, a couple of lines, doesn't need to be overly complex. But it goes a long way to communicating what you've built to other members of the team who might not be as technical as you. So if you've never heard of Lucidchart, definitely check it out. They're an amazing application, amazing group of people. And today we're going to be making a really simple flowchart for onboarding new members. Specifically into X-Ray. I'm actually gonna make something that we're gonna build in a few weeks from now. So basically, when someone signs up for a membership at X-Ray, from day one, we want to create future calendar events with them of all the things that we want to review with them. So we'll have a strategy meeting, we'll have a kickoff call, we'll have delivery meetings. And this flowchart is going to be a really simple flowchart to show, okay, when we get a new member, what are the key meetings that need to happen? So this can get really complex and it can be pretty straightforward, but let's start off with the simple version. So let's get into it. So here we are on Lucidchart. And what I did here was just added all of the business process mapping notation 2.0. It's just a shape that they have available. So if you click on shapes and click on this BPMN 2.0, it has a whole bunch of these shapes. And I just dragged them onto the canvas just so you can see what they all are, right? There's a task, a transaction, an event process, a group, annotation. Swim lanes are a huge shape that we use a lot of. Different event shapes, data store, call activity, right? These are all different things that you can add into your flowchart just to be a little bit more descriptive. So we're actually going to start with the pool here, pool and lanes. So I'm going to click this and I'm going to hold the Option key, and that's going to duplicate it. So if you're familiar with any design software programs, something like Figma or Adobe Illustrator, if you hold Option, that automatically duplicates the object that you have. So you can just click and drag it into a new, copy that shape. So this pool is going to be called New Member Onboarding. And we're going to be using email. We're going to be using Airtable. And I actually need to add a few more lanes here. So I'm just going to come up here in 2, 3, 4, 6. Why not? So we're going to do Airtable. We're going to need to do some calendar. We're going to need Google Slides. We're also going to need, I think that's about it for now. That's it for now. So I'll just leave these two other lanes there in case I think of something else that we need to add. Actually, I just thought of one. We currently use a thing called Member Stack. And we also have something called Stripe, which is a payment processor. Both of these are related to payments. member stack in Stripe. And we also actually have Webflow in here. So this is already starting to be a pretty beastly flow chart here. I'm actually going to segment this and just make it really easy without a swim lane diagram at first. So I'm just going to grab this box and I'm just going to drop it in this gray area, and then the canvas automatically expands. And I'm going to say a new member signed up. New member signed up, and then a new member paid. That's the big thing. So new member paid. And then what I need to do is I need to build a kickoff deck. And I need to notify the team of new member. And what else do I need to do? I need to send a calendar invite for kickoff call. I'm also going to need to send calendar invites for, we'll say, strategy sessions and delivery calls, a delivery call. Yeah, so let's take these, just move these over here for now. Build a kickoff deck, notify team. You can see I'm starting to sort of segment these into columns already. It's just easier to do it this way, to think about it. It's like, hey, you have, here we'll say new potential buyers on this side. And those new potential buyers are going to sign up. Hopefully after they sign up, they buy. And after they buy, we need to notify the team that there's a new member. And we also need to build a kickoff deck. And then and this is actually going to be in a different column here. Notice if you click in the middle, you can actually move this line over, which is really helpful. You've noticed like the grid snapping this together, so that's also helpful too. And then we need to send a calendar invite for a kickoff call, and that's going to be in a different column here. So you can see how quickly you can get relatively complex with these types of flow diagrams, but it's important that you're thinking of all the steps, right? So we're going to have a kickoff call, and then we're going to have a strategy session, and then we're going to have a delivery call, right? At the end of that, that's probably 30 days away. And I'll actually annotate this. Hold Option there, make a copy. And this is going to be over the course of 30 days. Notify a new team, and this is actually going to be on Slack. So I might make a diagram just like this, to show my team, hey, this is a process that we need to build, and this is at least the rough outline that we would build this process inside of a Zapier, right? So you can have this diagram, and it really serves as a blueprint for you to build the other steps of the automation. Now, if we're going to sort of upgrade this, if this is a little rookie for your preference, and you want to include a few more pieces of it, that's when we start to move into the flow into the swim lane diagram here, this pool shape below, and that's because we're going to be able to be a lot more specific with this information. So I'm going to highlight everything here, and then I'm going to hold Option again, and I'm going to drag all of these shapes over here, and I'm actually going to put it on the side and then rearrange this stuff. So we have a new member sign up and a new member paid. That is going to be right here. I'm just going to delete all of these connections that I made here. So on Webflow, they're going to sign up, and eventually going to pay on Stripe. Now this sign up process is like both a member stack and Webflow activity. So I'm going to put this right here because it's not possible to sign up unless they come to our website. So we're going to say the new member signed up, and then the new member paid, and Stripe's our payment processor here. So we're actually kind of going in the opposite direction, but I use hierarchy, read from top to bottom as a way of communicating the sequence of information. But that's okay. So now we're going to notify the team on Slack after we get that. So Slack is nowhere on here right now. I'm going to add another column to this, and this is going to be Slack. So because I'm adding a little bit more detail here, I actually also want to include, yes, I'm notifying the team of Slack, but I also want to create a new Slack channel or create a new channel. And then I might actually say, member name and then underscore shared, right? Something like that. However you name your Slack channels for that are shared with people. We have our own kind of particular way to do it, but so we're going to create the new Slack channel, and we're also going to share people on our team with that channel. So every time we have same couple of people join the new shared channels that we have. So see how I broke this down into 3 different steps? I broke this into 3 different steps because those are 3 different steps in Zapier. So I happen to know that because I've worked with the Slack automations before inside of Zapier. So that's why I broke them into 3 different steps. So then we are going to create, we're going to build this Kickoff Deck. And this could actually happen at the same time, right? This could happen concurrently. So we don't need to have this all the way down here. These could be parallel tasks. We could have it do both those things at the same time. Because we should have all the data here, but I'm actually going to add this step like I showed in Airtable. We're going to log the new member here, and I'm going to move this because we're going to log this new member first, and then we're going to build the Kickoff Deck. And the reason for that is depending on what kind of package they buy, we might have a different Kickoff Deck for that. So we'll have that information in Airtable to say, hey, this person paid X amount of money. For X amount of money, that package has this deck associated with it. If you have a complex system, that's going to be really helpful. So you'll build the Kickoff Deck, and then we're also going to send some invites, right? So we have to send the calendar invite for the kickoff right here. And then these 2 steps, I'm actually going to keep off of this automation for now, because I think this is kind of complex enough for this diagram. We don't need to add any delays or things like that for those other steps. But you can see here how having a swim lane diagram, breaking up all these different steps, just thought of one here, we should email the client with that invite, right? Email them a confirmation and thank you, right? And that's gonna happen right after we build the Kickoff Deck. We will send them an information, or actually right after they pay, they should get that, right? So we can go all the way up here and then make that line connect. So you can see, having swim lane diagrams like this, you can actually start to orchestrate a whole bunch of automations across all of the software that you have and orientate them inside of a process. Now, that is critical if anyone else besides you are going to do this process. And if you're going to automate things, it's going to be enormously helpful for you to have a flow diagram like this, for you to refer back to as you're doing construction, for you just to check the box and say, yes, I am creating a new Slack channel. I did invite all the right people to it, and that's ready to go. So I hope this Lucidchart tutorial has been helpful. As always, links and resources are in the description down below. And as always, keep the flow.